Hello there, friends and followers. Well, since this 100V is restored now, I'm doing my usual power output test. So to do that, I'm going to start off on 80 meters here and increase the output power to full here. And put it on CW. Increase the CW output to full. And that's it. So this thing should now give full power. So once you go to manual mode here, it will key. So we're on 80 meters. I'm setting the frequency in the middle of the 80 meter band. Let's go for some output power here on 80 meters. I'm on a dummy load antenna. About 115 there on 80 meters. Let's try 40. I'll go to the middle of the band. That's one thing obtuse about this thing as to where the band is not really copied onto the band changes. Okay, that's about the middle. Manual mode. 40 meters. 100 watts out on CW. Let's go to 20 meters. And same thing on 20 meters. About 90 watts. Let's go to 15 meters. This is now 15 meters and middle of the band. 60 watts. Let's see, on 20 meters, was I in the middle of the band? Yeah, I was. Okay. 15, here's 10 meters. 10 will be the weakest band. And let's try it out. I'm in the middle of the band now, roughly. 50 watts is all I'm going to get. Let's go down to the lower part of 10 meters and see what happens here. Down low, here we are. And what do we get down there? About 50 watts. Let's go to the very top. What do we get? At the very top of 10 meters. Same thing. So it is really broadbanded, that's for sure. All right, so that's how that works. What else can we do with this thing? Go back to 40 meters. I think my antenna tuner is on 40 meters. Yes, it is. I'm on a dummy load though, so whoop, forgot about that. Dummy load antenna. Okay. So on AM, to tune AM, you pretty much look at the scale here and push the talk mode. You can tune AM on manual mode too, and when you go to manual, the microphone will be active. There's the microphone. So you can see that it's active. This is the audio input. Turn it up all the way. So I'm on a dummy load, so I can whistle, doesn't matter. Let's now on AM, you adjust the AM carrier with this control here. So I found that it works pretty well when you go up to AM and just kind of go down a little from it right about there. Seems pretty good. You can watch the scope for a trapezoid. So key it up. And when there's no signal, you don't see much of a trapezoid, no power coming out. You can crank up the AM control here and it'll put out nearly 100 watts in AM, but that's not correct because the carrier injection's wrong. So you pretty much watch this power input meter and take it to the AM right about there. And I think that's about sounding well. Hello, testing AM, testing 1, 2, 3. So that's how to run AM on this thing roughly, and or you can just dial it down to 25 watts. That's probably better. Right about there. And the trapezoid, hello. Trapezoid, hello trapezoid. Yeah, so the trapezoid's a little non-linear there. You can see it's got some kind of bleed off there. Let's crank it down. Yeah. So I'm down to about 25 watts. The trapezoid looks, hello, hello, hello. Hello. Okay, there's the perfect trapezoid right about there. and that's cranking about 10 watts out, but I found that audio doesn't sound well, so it seems like AM works the best when you're right about there on the meter, right smack at the AM there. Okay, that's our AM. Okay. FSK would be for RTTY, which I don't run. There's CW for you CW people. Pulse with modulation, that's like FM to a degree, and it works, but there isn't much deviation. So you can see the deviation on the meter. You can see it moving. So the frequency is moving. So this is amplitude, that's frequency that way. Okay, we did AM. It has upper sideband with carrier, which I'm not sure why you'd want that, but you can see a bit of a carrier there. Hello. And how do we work with that carrier? Okay, you can mess with the AM knob to change it, I suppose. Looks like that's varying the carrier. With it, CW mode does nothing there. Okay, lower sideband carrier, double sideband. So this part, you can see it says suppression, meaning it's suppressed. There's no carrier. So when you want to set up the carrier and make sure suppression's working, you select the null mode here, and then you can look at this meter and set these two potentiometers for a null carrier, which will be a 0. So this is rated in decibels suppression. You can see here carrier suppression. So if we weren't suppressed, and I goofed up these knobs here a bit, you would see that if I try null, I got a carrier going on there, and if you are way out, there would be some carrier coming out of the radio. Let's see. So, yeah, see the carrier coming out? So you're out of null. So basically, I could diddle with these and then null the carrier out. If you watch the output meter there, see how it's lowering when I rotate these. So it's pretty much out. Now, take the audio down there. I have the audio up. And on sideband, audio makes it. So here I'm nulling the carrier with watching the watt meter, and let's see how close we can make that. All right, that's the watt meter, and I'm watching, it's got a little bit of output there. If I now go to null, wow, pretty close. So that works out really well. Anyway, that's how I null it out. And of course, when you're transmitting and there's no carrier, you just get a little dot on the scope here. Add some audio. And there's the sideband. So that's how that works. Upper sideband. Pretty slick. All right, that's about it. What else can I show you on this thing? So when you're talking this thing on frequency, you can talk it on with these controls here. So let's see if we can do that. I'll turn the receiver on here. There's the receiver. RF gain up. I'm not sure that I have enough antenna to do this, but let's see if it'll work. Let's go to 40 meters here. Actually, 20 meters might work better. Let's go to 20 meters. There's 20. Go to 14.2 roughly. Okay, receiver's on. Now, take this to 20, and I'm around 14.2. This isn't quite calibrated correctly, but this bottom one is with the kilohertz. This top one's not so good, but let's see what we can do here. So I'm trying to talk on frequency here, and right about there, I guess, would be even, or on 20, right about there. So that should be 14.2 there, even though this is a little high. Okay, so to talk on frequency, I would say carrier. And then you can see it's got a bit of carrier here. that I can vary the carrier level, and this just changes the bias. So you can see that there is some power coming out, not much, a little tiny bit. And you can see there's some input to the final, a little tiny bit, not much. And that is verified on the scope here. All right, so now the radio, the receiver, turn it up. And let's see if we can hear ourselves screech on by here. There it is. Can hear myself. Testing on AM 123. Well, that's not working. Oh yeah, so I have to go to voice to talk on the voice, like this. Okay, and now we have voice on AM, and that doesn't sound too good. Let's change this around a bit. This is talk on voice on AM. Talk on voice. Okay, this is AM talk on voice 1, 2, 3. And let's take it to sideband and try that out. So now we're on SSB. And move this thing to SSB. There we are. Let's do a talk on with SSB. So that's pretty close. Hello, talk, talk, talk. That's pretty close. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three, testing, that's too high. And there we go, too high. And there was a little whistle, so that means we're there. Canary whistle he talks about in the manual, and that means we're right smack dab on frequency. Hello, hello, hello. And you can take it to USB. Or that is USB. Let's go LSB. And you can hear it's kind of the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing 1, 2, 3. And that's because this receiver doesn't really filter that well between them both. I think if I take the bandpass and the receiver down, I think these two modes on this receiver discriminate between sidebands. Try that. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Can't hear it. Let's switch it. There we are. And get the canary sound, the tweeting. That's about right. This is a test of sideband 1, 2, 3. This is what? Upper sideband testing 1, 2, 3. And that's how to net this thing on the sideband. You can also go to the other mode here. Okay. Lower sideband. There's the canary chirping. I never knew how to do that until now. That's cool. Okay, we're right smack on sideband, maybe a little high. One, two, three on frequency, on frequency. Hello, sideband, 1, 2, 3. Okay. But basically, that's why I like AM. There's no sideband. There's AM. Right there, widen it up. Increase the filter to wide. And take this to AM. This is AM modulation. So with AM, there's no harm, no foul, it just works. Hello, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't have the range, but it has the fidelity. All right. All right, that's my demo of the old station here. This thing also has like a concept of line voltage, so you can go here to line and look at the meter where it says line way up here, and let's see what happens. Okay, it's saying that my line voltage is a little high, which it is considering, but it's within bounds. And what else can we do? Antenna amps. So this has the concept way back when in the 50s of amps going out to the antenna. It's basically an output meter. So if I go to antenna amps here, and then I go to CW mode, and I think we're still maxed out here, and I key the radio, you should see some amps on the meter here. Oh yeah, look at that go. So it's got some antenna amps coming out, that's for sure. This is a really cool radio. I've had a tough time fixing it, but now that it's fixed, I'm fairly amazed and humbled by it. This is really ahead of its time for what it was. Okay, and inside of here, a little bit of Gearworks. This thing has Vox on it too. This is like the main power output for everything, up and down. Crystal you can put in there. I have no idea what this is. An FSK monitor, don't know. It's the speaker stuff they put in. I never use that. So of interest to me then is Vox. So let's go to Vox on AM. Turn this up. So Vox means you talk and it comes on by itself. Talking to the mic, and we have Vox. So here is Vox. With Vox, we talk in the mic and it keys up automatically. Okay, so watch the meter and watch the scope, and with Vox, it will key up automatically. That's how Vox works. 1, 2, 3, Vox. All right, and there is a Vox delay on this thing too. Let's see if it works. Which one is Vox delay? Is that it? Oh, that's deviation. Wow, that was turned down. Ha ha ha. Okay, here's Vox delay right here, and it was turned up. Okay, now it's way up. This is Vox delay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, it sort of delays. 1, 2, 3. What if we turn this way down? Okay, this is Vox delay 1. So with it all the way down, it doesn't work at all. That's interesting. How about halfway? Vox delay is halfway. Hello, 1, 2. It's definitely faster, so that does work. Here's 3/4 Vox delay. This is Vox delay 3/4 of a turn. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, and full juice here, Vox. This is Vox on full. There is a delay. Okay, so that works. What I'm curious about is, let's increase the deviation here. And I think that's for RIDI. I think that control is for what? Something deviation. Okay, that's FSK deviation, so that's not going to help us with phase modulation, I don't think. Let's see what happens. This is phase modulation. Phase modulation. So this radio seems like it can pick up FM a bit in slope detection mode. So how would that work? Do it like that. Let's lower the power down a bit. Lower it down here. I don't want to cook the radio. There, it's lowered down. Power's lowered. Now, we're in AM, I think. Yeah, we are. Let's take it off frequency a bit. Right about to there. And I think I got to fiddle with these a bit. There. Turn it up. This is phase modulation. This is phase modulation. This is phase modulation. It does look a little bit into an AM radio. This is phase modulation, phase modulation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put it back there, it kind of works. Let's see here. Phase modulation, 1, 2, 3. So phase modulation does work on this thing. I'm receiving on slope detection now, phase modulation with this radio. So we do have some FM going on here. 1, 2, 3, phase modulation. This is phase modulation. That's pretty cool. Raise the power. Turn this down. There we go. This is phase modulation, FM. So this radio will transmit FM, phase modulation. It's cranking out some FM. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's pretty cool. All right. And there. So you got to give this guy's credit. In 1958, they covered all the aspects with this thing. That is cool. I've never had that working before. All right. What else can we do here? I think we've covered everything. What's that one do? That is what? Vox. Okay, that must be Vox sensitivity. How high was that one? It's pretty much nailed. All right. I think we've covered it all. All the functions, all the controls. Standby. PTT. Yeah, we've covered it all. It's a cool radio. And yeah, I went over this, how this works, where you can talk on frequency, and when you go to carrier, it just puts a carrier out, and I don't, maybe I gotta go to CW here, click. Yeah, it's put a little bit out. A little bit of carrier comes out of it. And you can crank it up and down with the bias here. So that's for talk on frequency. You can see where it has a bit of a carrier there going on. And go here to voice. I'm not sure why they have two of these. I guess it was a way to silence the voice if you don't want to hear it. So that's my little demo of the radio. And if I sell it, I'll probably include this microphone here, which is a period 1958 microphone that goes with the radio. It didn't come with it, but the radio seems happy. I'm going to try a D104 in this thing when it comes in the mail in about a week and see how that sounds. People say this microphone sounds a bit too bassy, so it doesn't have any mid-range or any highs, so we'll try a different microphone with it. But that's about it. This is my rundown on the Central Electronics 100V. This thing has been months and months and months of work to make it go. I guess I can take the lid off here and show you the inside. if I don't get shocked on the dial key. Let's see, put this here. So yeah, so I pulled out this little filter thing here, which people say doesn't really help. So this is a filter module that Wes Sham designed, or maybe one of his engineers, and it works, but it seems to make it bassy, people say. So you can jump this thing, so I took it out and jumped it, and people say it sounds better without it. But here's how to open it. You just give the lid a tug, and it might open up. Let's see. There it is. And here's the insides of the beast. This is the 200V transformer that I've installed, that I could not make it work in the 200V configuration. So I've just kind of hacked this thing in here with 2 diodes off the secondary, 2 diodes in series, and those are in here where the 5U4 was. This transformer here is for the 340 volt supply, which is really putting on about 208 volts, and I've adjusted resistors for the B plus to compensate for that, but this radio has been on for a long time. The transformer is warm, but it's not hot, so that's a good sign. 3 capacitors that I put in a long time ago. 2 of those are for the high voltage, and 1 of those is for low voltage. That's how those work. This capacitor seems all right. It's been in here, I guess, since the radio was made. I went through the PS2 module and replaced all the capacitors and resistors with accurate values to give it a 90-degree phase shift, 45 per side. I put new tubes in this thing. It's probably got half new tubes in it. And there's where the module went. That's the module I showed you here. Where's the module? Here it is. That's where this module goes. You lift up this keeper and install a module. It's called an audio filter module. Just put it in there, pull the wire out. People tell me it sounds better with that module jumped, and the sideband seems like it's stronger with the module jumped. So the module is jumped, and that's that. Here's the VFO. You can take this VFO out. It's a bit of a headache, but you can get the whole VFO out. The whole thing comes out along with the little turret here. It all comes out as one assembly, and you can work on it. So I've taken the VFO out and completely gone through it. That's documented in videos. Scope CRT has been replaced because that was bad. 6550 finals, they seem to work okay. These were fed with too much voltage for a long time in my previous power supply rendition. Now they're healthily working around, and as you saw, we can get 100 watts out of them, so I guess they're fine. I labeled what all these controls do as far as what band they're on, these little coils that are for adjusting the various stages. I've never really gone through and mucked with them because it seems like it works fine. I suppose I could, now that the transmitter is generally done, I could go through those and try and get a little more output or broadband, but I haven't messed with those. Anyway, that's my tour of the transmitter. Quite a complete tour, starting off with power output, and then we go into the real details of the devil. So that's my tour. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.